Hello guys and welcome back to the Flutter tutorial. Before we continue, I wanted to show you something. I've updated my Android Studio and now it looks like this. On the left side we have 4 tabs: Projects, Customize, Plugins, Learn Android Studio. When we click on Customize, we can change the theme, light or dark, we can change the font. In the plugins we can see the already installed one and the ones in the marketplace. Learn Android Studio, we can see the links here. The projects, when we click on a new Flutter project, I wanted to show you this. So we have multiple things. We need to choose a Flutter, then we click next, and here it's same as before: project name, project location, description, project type. We will keep it as application, organization, your project identifier, Android language. You can choose either Java or Kotlin, iOS either Objective-C or Swift. But now we can also choose web support for Flutter applications. So let's click on previous. I will not create one, I was just showing you. And here in the Dart, instead of going to Dartpad online, we can now create new projects for Dart and work with Dart locally. So now let's head to our project. Today we will start with buttons, but before we start, I need to clarify something. We used to have buttons in Flutter. We used to have raised button, we used to have flat button, and we also used to have outline button. But since Flutter 2 and above, these three got replaced. Instead of raised button we have elevated button, instead of flat button we have text button, and instead of outline button we have outlined button. So let's start creating them. First I will comment this, then inside here I will say outlined button. And first thing we need to pass is onPress method. Let's keep it as empty. Then we have to pass the child. Let's say const text and say click me, and remove the const from here and save it. It doesn't look so well, so let's remove this and change it to white. Okay, here you go, this is the button. Okay guys, we can also style our button. We can say style, and inside here we say button style. Inside it we style our button. So let's say background color, and we used to say colors.red, but this doesn't work anymore. What we need to do, since this is a material app button, we have to say material, oops, sorry, not caps lock, material state property, then .all, and inside here we can pass whatever we want. For example, colors.red. Now if I save it, it shall be red, and we can change the foreground color. For example, material state property.all colors.white, and if we save it, it shall change the text color. Okay, but since this is an outline button, we don't usually change the background and the foreground, maybe the foreground, but we don't change the background color. What we actually do, we change the border color. So let me show you how to change the border color. We say side, then here we say material state property.all, and here we pass border side. Then inside the border side we have multiple things. We have the width, let's give it for example 2. We have the color, let's say colors.blue, and we also have a style, so we can have border style dot solid for example, yeah. And let's make it const to get rid of this error. Save it, and also let's change this to blue as well. Okay, so here you go, this is an outline button. Alright guys, now let's have a look at text button. So let's first comment this button, then in the child property here let's say text button. As outline button we have to pass the onPress and the child, so let's pass the onPress and keep it empty for now, and we pass the child. Let's have it also as text saying click me, and let's save it. Okay, this is our text button. So we can also style it, button style. But we don't usually change the background color for this button, otherwise it will be a normal button, not just text button. So we usually change the foreground color. So let's change it. Material state property.all, and let's change it for green, for example, and save it. And here you go. That's how we create a text button. Alright guys, now let's have a look at ElevatedButton. So let's first comment this button, then here say ElevatedButton, and we also have to pass the onPress method and keep it as empty for now. We also have to pass the child, and let's also pass it as click me. Okay, now let's save it, and here's our ElevatedButton. We can style it as well. We can change the background, we can change the foreground. So let's change the background color. Let's say material state property.all, and inside here let's change it to yellow, for example. Okay, let's save it. It doesn't look good. So let's change the foreground color as well. Foreground color, material state property.all, and let's say colors dot black. Let's save it. Okay, it does look a little bit better. Alright guys, before we continue, I want to highlight something. As I said before, we used to have different buttons and we used to have different style. So we can access that all the style doing so. We comment this and we can say ElevatedButton.style from. Inside here, inside the style from, we can pass properties. For example, primary, the button color, I can say colors.blue, for example, then save it. And to change the text color, we can say on primary colors.black. So save it now, and here you go. That's how we do it by the old style. So let's remove it and keep it as button style because we want to style our button with the new way. So I'll do so. I will uncomment this and remove all of that. Okay guys, we have different types of button for ElevatedButton. Let me show you. First, let's comment this, and here we say ElevatedButton.icon. Inside here, we definitely have to pass the onPress, so let's keep it empty as well. And we have to pass an icon. The icon, we have to pass for it an icon. Inside the icon, we can say icons dot, we can say whatever we want. We have a list of icons. Let's say icons.business. Then we have to pass a label. A label is a widget. Let's say it's a text widget. And let's also say click me. Let's save it now and see it. Okay. And let's make this constant. And let me show you what do we have inside this icon. We also have property for the icon. We have size. Let's make it, for example, 40. We have colors. Let's make the colors white, for example, and save it. And here we go. And let's make this click me as well. Okay, we also have one type of button. Let me show you. As you can guess, this is an ElevatedButton.icon. So we have an icon button. Inside the icon button, as always, we have to pass the onPress, and let's keep it as empty. And inside it, we have to pass an icon, not a child, only icon. Icon. And inside it, we can choose whatever icon we want. Let's say AC unit. And after that, we can have icon size, for example, let's say 50, and make this constant. So if I save this now, we shall have this. And we can also change the color, for example, let's say colors.blue. And this is it. Alright guys, now we have basic understanding of stateless widget and stateful widget. We have basic understanding of buttons, icons, and IconButton. And I've said before inside the OnlyPress that we write Dart code. So for example, let's print whenever the user clicks this button, let's print clicked, and let's save it. Click on this run tab. So whenever we click this, it will print clicked. And that's the main goal of it. We can write Dart code. So what I want you to do, I want you to solve this challenge. But before I tell you what is the challenge, I will give you a couple of hints. I will change this to favorite, and I will create a bool, say is clicked is equal to false. Alright, and I will save it now. So I will also change the color here to gray. Okay, so what I want you to do, whenever we click on this, if it's gray, it needs to change to red. And if it's red, it has to be changed to gray. And that's a coding challenge for the next video. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next video.